Greetings and welcome to XRP Insider, everyone. Do you know what interests me? XRP. Since the election, it has outperformed the other 100 coins by market capitalization. The cost has really skyrocketed. It reached a brand new all-time high of $3.65 just days ago. As I write this, it is at $3.25. So there has been a slight decline along with the market as a whole, but it is not a huge problem. However, you know what interests me? It doesn't matter to the average lemming retail speculator out there, though. Even when they aren't listening, they will. Yes, they are. And I am aware of this due to historical precedent and my understanding of human psychology about market blow-up tops. Particularly in crypto, of course, I've experienced a few of them myself. Retail may not care, but they will soon. I'm telling you. This will be my third absurd bull run here. It's just silly, which is why I've always said, and I've said it for years literally, that XRP was artificially suppressed for a very long time due to the SEC attack. But even before that, before the attack, XRP was just emerging from a bear market, the 2017 to 2018 bull run, so you're in a bear market for a while. I thought, look, people don't want XRP when it's this cheap, as we were beginning to get past that. People don't want it while it's this cheap, but they will want it when it's $10. I recall saying when XRP was 20 cents, 23 cents, 25 cents, and 28 cents, all around that range. You had better believe that. People feel validated when they see a large green candle, and they will assume that it will continue to rise indefinitely, which is untrue. I'm not sure where XRP peaks at this time. It may rise significantly this cycle, but I'm not saying it can't reach $10. I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I'm drawing attention to the absurd human psychology that underlies it all. In other words, retail doesn't give a damn, and I'll explain why. They will, but I'll show you a bit of information here. This is a post from Steph is Crypto, a chart analyst. A screen grab of the Google Trends page with the search phrase XRP going back 90 days globally is displayed by him. This is the chart that is now displayed on your screen. He also noted that XRP was above $3. Retailers are still indifferent to a 53% price increase in July. He's correct, too. As you can see, we did reach that new all-time high, and his XRP price was indeed surging. You noticed a slight increase, but now notice how low it is. Additionally, XRP is simply relaxing at this price level above $3 right now without exerting any effort. That's incredible. Now, look at a search term for XRP globally over the past 12 months, and you can see that people weren't all that concerned, even at the most recent high of $3.65. Yes, some folks began to do a little more searching. Even at $3.65, people weren't as thrilled about XRP as they were when its price began to rise in November and early December. Take a look at this. As you can see, we're not even close to that peak. We're going to be, that's the only reason I'm bringing this up, wait until the euphoria begins. Google searches for XRP will skyrocket, even though individuals could be purchasing XRP for little over $3 at this very moment. Instead, they will be buying it at a significantly higher price. And perhaps those analysts who predict that XRP will sell for $10 are correct, and consumers will buy it at that price rather than the current, much lower price. This is a post from Khalil, a chart analyst, discussing Bitcoin on Saturday. It appears poised to reach new all-time highs, he said, and he obviously still thought that last night. Bitcoin send it, he wrote. It will be Sunday night, and that is a significant trigger. What we're waiting for is that, I'm emphasizing this because of this. If history is to be believed, Bitcoin will peak after its final parabolic surge for this cycle, and when that happens, that will be it. There are a lot of analysts that I follow who believe that this final blast-off will be the last one. This is a post by Bob Lucas, a chart analyst. Based on previous weekly cycle behavior, I think there are 2 to 4 solid weeks left in this Bitcoin weekly cycle before a top, which could be readying here for a push to $140,000, he says. Accordingly, he believes that within the next 2 to 4 weeks, Bitcoin may achieve a cycle top and approach $140,000. Therefore, there is no assurance that it will occur. That's not what he's promising. However, he thinks it's very likely that Bitcoin might reach its high in that short amount of time based on what he's seen in the charts and historical precedents. After that, you would anticipate the onset of alt season. There might be some overlap, which would be fairly typical, but alt season would continue for a while longer, perhaps another 4 or 6 weeks or whatever. We are near the influx, though, if this is how it turns out. As a result, you will witness traditional retail speculators swarming into this market and purchasing anything they can. It's similar to the Futurama joke where the character Fry hands out a wad of cash while shouting, "Take my money." That being said, I will remove my money from anyone who invests in cryptocurrency. Yes, all right, glad to do so. Exit liquidity, thank you. Folks, that's precisely what occurs here. However, it's thrilling to watch that occur so rapidly. You are aware of the implications for XRP. And once more, before we enter the euphoria, XRP is comfortably hovering above $3. XRP remains above $3, and there is no longer any euphoria. Do you mean me? Many people believe that for XRP to get to this level, we must be in ecstasy. Well, not so much. That is incredibly thrilling. This is one of Mikey Bull Crypto's posts. This is the Bitcoin dominance percentage chart by market capitalization. An interesting signal, alt season, Bitcoin dominance breaking downward, and MACD bearish cross, he adds. You know, when he wrote this on Sunday, Bitcoin was just above 61%. Additionally, you can see that the MACD has a small red candle here when he discusses it. Thus, this may be a sign of a change in momentum. Thus, this would be taking place precisely when you would wish and anticipate it to. That in itself is a good indication. The supremacy of Bitcoin is eroding. That's your goal. Therefore, as the supremacy disintegrates, the price of Bitcoin can, and I anticipate it will, continue to climb. And altcoin domination, including that of XRP in particular, will rise significantly. It's all fitting together so well. This is the overall market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies, except Bitcoin, according to a post by chart analyst CW. In actuality, it is the top 125 coins. Thus, XRP is included, but only among the top 125 currencies by market capitalization, which does not include Bitcoin. And have a look at what he wrote. He predicts that when altcoins breach this trend line, which is likely to happen next week, the real rise will begin. It's about time for the true alt season to begin. All right. Furthermore, no skilled chart analyst can reliably forecast when an event will occur. However, he is emphasizing once more that he is not making any promises. He's pointing out something I keep seeing from a lot of analysts. We're at the point where it seems sensible to think that it might actually happen. Although he doesn't guarantee it will happen next week, he believes it will most likely happen then. From here, things can drastically change for every one of us. In essence, that is a crucial lesson to be learned. From here, life can change drastically and swiftly for all of us, in my opinion. The actual halt season is about to begin, he says. Yes, I have no doubts about that. Chart analyst Mustache wrote this post that this is the overall market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies, excluding the top 10. And all he did was write the third alternate season. It can be so easy. He is pointing out that the same things are happening cycle after cycle, even though this is a zoomed out view that clearly goes back around 10 years, that you can observe what follows. Take a look. I rock my mouse to the upside down cycle before this one, which is the final cycle in which I do so. Folks, that's what lies ahead. Thus, we'll observe how it develops over time and when it launches. But I'm thinking sooner rather than later. Well, this is a post from Rec Capital, a chart analyst. This one is also fantastic. Even if you only care about XRP, you should still be interested in this. I don't care if you don't care about Ethereum. Well, since the alt season usually begins when Ethereum gets going, this is an Ethereum dominance percentage chart based on market capitalization. And take a look at this. For the first time in 5 years, Ethereum dominance has risen to 12%, according to Rect Capital. It is currently difficult for Ethereum domination to move into the green circled phase. In fact, the last time it surged to 12% was in July 2020, precisely 5 years ago. As you can see from the blue circle from the previous cycle, it began to soar in 2020. During the midst of summer here, the dominance continued to soar for a while, not quite in a straight line, but it did. After that, Ethereum reaches its peak, which is, I believe, for the cycle anyway, incredibly large, isn't it? He is stating that it is beginning to move in that direction at a time when you would anticipate and hope it would. There is a historical precedent for XRP to contend for the second position in terms of market capitalization, so you can only imagine what this implies for the cryptocurrency. Actually, check out this post by chart analyst Bob Lucas. He's got another one here. It was about a 6-week move to $4,000 for Ethereum, which is about where it got as I'm recording this, he continues. In any case, he says it's unfortunate. The small trap before the shift made it a bit more difficult to catch everything with greater size, but it still feels like there is juice left in the tank, possibly up to $4,700 in a short period, if the Bitcoin market moves during the following 4 weeks. I showed you his article earlier in this video where he expressed his belief that Bitcoin will make its last move if it materializes, which he has made plain. Ethereum will then be the source of this. And if XRP is going to compete for the second highest market capitalization, attempting to overtake Ethereum, I'll just tell you this. If XRP reaches that market capitalization at $4,700, it's just a little over 9 XRP, which isn't crazy. and it has the potential to occur really quickly. This is a crypto wizard post. This is a chart for Ethereum USD. Stop fighting it, he adds. Few people believed me when I said it. It's too difficult to ignore now. Ethereum is about to break a structure that is exactly the same as in 2020. The time of no return is drawing closer. It's time to take off, so grab a seat and have fun. Therefore, don't be shocked if this occurs. Additionally, don't be shocked if XRP ends up taking the second position in market capitalization. Furthermore, the implications for XRP's value against the dollar will be absurd. It's going to be wild. This is a chart animal post. Zoom XRP US, cut US territory. He claims that his textbook retest was flawless, and the reason I thought I'd draw attention to this is because, well, at least recently anyway, we'll see if this continues. But this specific trading pair, well, this particular pair, I mean, no one's actually trading this pair, but it is a pair. Historically, recently anyway, it's been weeks ahead of what happens with XRP USD, so seeing this thing surge to the upside at a crucial moment like this could be good for XRP USD. In any case, that would be consistent with all these animals who are predicting that XRP will rise in value against the dollar sooner rather than later. I decided to at least provide a synopsis. Chart Analyst Cryptos has a post here. Oh, XRP bounced to $3.29, check, he says. It is currently at resistance, he claims, and he posted that this morning. Let's see if we close above it or pull back. We'll provide an update. However, it's a crucial level even though we're a few cents below that at the time I'm recording this. It's an important level to keep an eye on. Although it's unclear when we'll actually start ripping, this is the range where things have the most impact. This is a post from Trade Analyst Galaxy then. He thinks the same thing. In any case, a $3 retest indicates that XRP is looking solid. He feels it's time to flip the blue line at $3.35 and continue the bull run, even though XRP did briefly go below $3 the other day. He is hence optimistic. Instead of using $3.29, he is using a slightly different key level. He's referring to $3.35, but we live in a range where it will just disappear once it starts to run through this. And he thinks that's probably the case. Well, chart analyst Pepa posted something on Saturday. XRP 12 hour is looking good, he says. He then shared it on Sunday, adding a small salute emoji to indicate that XRP was looking even better the next day. Thus, the XRP chart analyst's hope and confidence are unending. That's what I'm trying to emphasize here. Well, this is a post from an analyst I don't know very well, but I still find it interesting. Dork Chicken is an amusing moniker for him. The internet must be something I adore. However, that isn't as dumb as the name XRP Insider. I can say with pride that my name is the most ridiculous in the whole XRP community. In any case, according to Dork Chicken, the weekly bullish trend for XRP has persisted for about a year. And people, this is consistent with what I keep seeing from analysts' short-term price projections. All you had to do was buy on the signal and look for immediate weekly support at $2.70. The next leg goals are between $7 and $8. Yes, as fast as possible, moving up into that range. The XRP 3-month chart from 2017 with a fire emoji was reposted by chart analyst Crypto Seth, incidentally. I see a major higher time frame breakout, he says. The main lesson here is once more that there is unending hope. As I mentioned earlier, XRP is running when you wake up one day. Haven't we had a couple of those lately? Indeed, we have. There will be another one. Eventually, though, what happens if you go to sleep one day and XRP is a little over $3, and when you wake up, it's about $4.50? It's the kind of thing that might be happening sooner rather than later. Really, it seems like XRP can go that fast. It is displayed. It can suddenly rise by more than $1. I think it could accomplish it in a stinking afternoon. I'm willing to wager that it might occur soon. We're nearly there then. All we need to do is wait a little while longer. Retail isn't concerned at the moment, but they will be. They ought to have been paying attention a little earlier, but all they will be discussing about XRP.